Okay. And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Tara, your resident harmony nerd. I'm a professional singer based in New York City, as well as a singing teacher, music educator, and content creator. And today is Free Voice Lesson Thursday. So I started my content creation journey maybe a year ago or so, like really committing to it. And it became very apparent to me very quickly that music education and knowledge is people are thirsty for it, but it's not out there, right? It's like kept behind a steep paywall, and it can be really hard to access good singing information and good music theory education that is digestible and simplified and removes the kind of elitism and mystical veil that surrounds Western music theory. So I have different offerings 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We do music theory Monday, ear training Tuesday. Hi, Val. Warm up Wednesday. This is Free Voice Lesson Thursday. And tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll be doing Frequency Friday, which is the digging deep, right? The confidence building, the getting to the root of what might be holding you back or what makes you feel nervous, right? Those sorts of things. So welcome if you're new to the community. I'm so happy that you're here. And if you've been here for a minute, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're here and that we're building this beautiful, loving community in which we support one another and share our knowledge. So thank you for being here. So, Free Voice Lesson Thursday, I share some information with you all on, different tips and techniques that have made me a better singer through my 15-year journey as a professional singer, which is wild to think about. So today, we're going to talk about, today's theme is the power of the tongue. Okay, and why are we talking about the tongue today? So I've learned recently that I have a tongue tie. Okay, well, I actually always knew I had a tongue tie, but I didn't know the effects it had on both my singing voice, my nervous system, and my entire body. Okay, so if you're curious what it is, it's this little thingy here. See there? Mm-hmm. That connects the bottom of my tongue to the bottom of my mouth. Now, everybody has this little stringy thing. It's called the frenum, okay? And for some people, it's longer and freer, so the tongue has more freedom. Mine is actually so tight that it's pulling my bottom teeth in and back. Okay, now they used to check for tongue ties when you were born in infancy because if you have a tongue tie, it's a lot harder to latch to breastfeed. However, in the 1970s, when formula became really popular, it's easier for babies to get milk from a bottle. So they stopped checking for these tongue ties. Well, here we are, 70s, 50 years later, realizing that the adults who didn't have their tongue ties cut, that they're having a lot of issues in adulthood. It can cause sleep apnea. It can cause neck and shoulder tension. It can cause a lot of different things. So all of this just to say that I've started working with someone called a myofunctional therapist, okay? And they help me stretch and strengthen the tongue before I get a release procedure, which they're going to eliminate that tongue tie, the frenum, with a laser, okay? And I'm having that done next week, and I am creating content surrounding the journey if you're curious about it. And if you think that you may have a tongue tie, it's definitely worth making an appointment with an oral surgeon or a myofunctional therapist or a dentist to have it looked at. However, if you don't have the tongue tie, you can still super benefit from tongue exercises. So what I've learned over the past month that I've been doing myofunctional therapy, which is tongue exercises, is that I didn't have a ton of control over my tongue because it's essentially glued to the bottom of my mouth due to this tongue tie. So I've just been doing exercises for about a month, and I had some singing work over the weekend, and I could not believe the richness and the depth of the tone that I was able to access in my voice because I have more control over the tongue, right? I've been able to lower the tongue, be more intentional with my placement, okay? And it's opened up an entire new part of my voice, which is so exciting. So I want to encourage you, whether you're new to singing or whether you've been doing it for a while, like meet your voice with curiosity. Because I've been a professional singer for 15 years and I am still discovering new sounds, new tones, right? When we are comfortable and willing to play with our instrument, we discover a lot more, right? So instead of, I feel like most of us, many if not most of us, we're taught to dislike our voices. We don't sound like the recording artists on the radio. We must be bad at this thing. So we're taught to meet our voices with judgment and dislike and criticism. Okay? And what I am proposing to you is, if you really want to get better at this, how do you flip the script in your head so that instead of meeting your voice with judgment, you meet it with curiosity? What happens when I do this? What kind of sound can I make if I do this? What if I try to pull my breath all the way down to my butt? Then what's going to happen? What if I retract my tongue? What if I try to send the sound up here into my skull, right? So instead of judging, we're playing. And you might be at home thinking, yeah, but like, I don't want to do anything unhealthy. You know, what if I hurt myself? And I will just say, like, your body knows. So if you do anything that feels like full of strain or tension or you're pushing, you will know, you will feel it and back off, right? There are no such thing as a good sound or a bad sound, right? We have healthy sounds and we have unhealthy sounds. Now, as a vocal teacher and singing instructor, I am always going to guide you away from sounds that are going to do damage to your voice, but I am never going to ask you to not explore, right? And a lot of times when we're curious and we're exploring our voice, the first time we make a new sound, it's weird and it's different and maybe it doesn't feel great, right? But that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be explored, okay? So what I would love to do with you all today, if you're open for it, I want to share some of these tongue exercises with you. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to sing a little bit before the tongue exercise and we're going to sing a little bit after each tongue exercise. So you'll start to feel the freedom that you are developing when we work on strengthening and stretching the tongue. Okay, and I am live on both TikTok right now and on YouTube. So if I'm responding to a comment that you don't see, it's because it's on the other platform, okay? And the great thing about being live in two places at once is if you're joining me on TikTok, the YouTube live replays are automatically reposted to my page. So if I say something here today that you're like, I want to hear that again, or if we do the exercises and you can't remember what they are and you want to go back and review them, you go to YouTube. I have the same handle at Resident Harmony Nerd. You can also find my YouTube in my link tree. Please subscribe. I'm new to YouTube, so subscribing to my YouTube is a great way to support me without spending any money. Okay? And then there is a free voice lesson Thursday replay playlist, so you can rewatch any of these free voice lessons. Or you can go through past weeks that maybe you just found the community and you didn't know before. There's also replay lists for Music Theory Monday and Ear Training Tuesday. So lots of free music education knowledge over on my YouTube page. And I've been moving and traveling. Life has been a little wild for me. But I'm going to start creating content again, practice videos and things like that on both YouTube and TikTok. So if there's any information that you would like me to share, you can always let me know by sending me a DM or posting a comment. Okay? If you're here with me and you're ready to get started singing and working with these tongue exercises, go ahead, double tap the screen on TikTok, give me some likes, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, grab some water if you're going to be singing with me today, and we'll get started in just one moment. Okay, cool. So does everybody who's watching live, do we all know the song Amazing Grace enough to use that as our example? I was thinking we could use Amazing Grace. Ready? Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. Does everybody know Amazing Grace? I want to pick a song that we can keep going back to and singing so that we can feel how things are changing as we do these tongue exercises. If you don't know Amazing Grace, will you let me know in the comments? We do. I'm so happy you're back. Thank you, Val. I'm happy to be back. I had a great journey. Moving is stressful as all get out. I'm sure anybody here who's moved knows, but I'm so grateful to be on the other side of it. And I had a beautiful trip last week. A friend of mine got married in Mexico, and then I sang a wedding in South Carolina, which was super fun. And now I'm getting back to regular life. So I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to see you here, Val. Thank you. All right. Okay, so let's start by, I'm going to try to pick a key for Amazing Grace that everybody can sing in. Okay, I think that this will be a good key for both high voices and low voices. So this is going to be our starting pitch, okay? If you haven't sang yet today like me, let's just do a couple quick sirens. We're not going to be doing anything super strenuous, so it's okay if you're not super warmed up right now. But I haven't sang yet today. Maybe you haven't either, so I like to give myself a little something to let my voice know, hey, honey, we're going to be singing. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to siren. I'm going to use my lip trills. Okay, if your motor's not working, that's okay. It just means you have a little too much tension in your face. Hopefully some of these tongue exercises will help with that. And if you can't get the motor running today, just do sirens with your voice on an ooh. Ooh, okay? Here we go. 3 sirens, starting from low to high. I've barely spoken today too. I feel you. Now let's do one from high to low and then high again. Did you see how my motor stopped running in the middle? That's okay, no big deal. We just keep going. And let's do one more. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So we're going to start here. If you have a high voice, you can sing with me. If you have a low voice, I can't hit that note today, but you can sing down here if your voice is lower, okay? And we're going to sing to Amazing Grace. Here we go. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. All right? How did that feel for you? If it was a little too high for you, sing it again at home. Sing it a little bit lower. Sing it wherever is comfortable in your range. Hi, Des. Okay? That felt a little high for me just because I'm not warmed up, but it is in my range. Can't stay but wanted to say hi. Nice to see you. You can watch the replay on YouTube, Des. We're working with the tongue today, doing some tongue exercises to gain control, to have a freer singing voice. Okay? Hi, hello from the Philippines. Hello, my friend. How are you? Okay. So we're going to sing Amazing Grace one more time now that we've sang through it once, just that first line. And what I'd like you to do, if you're comfortable this time, is close your eyes and pay attention to what it feels like inside your vocal instrument. Pay attention to your tongue, your jaw, your throat, okay? And just kind of take inventory. No judging. We're just taking inventory. Here we go. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Okay, so for me, I clocked a little bit of tension on the right side of my jaw and some tension in the back of my throat that time. So what did you feel? If you feel comfortable sharing it in the comments, drop it in the comments, let me know. What we're getting good at is something called interoception, which is feeling the inside of our body. This is something that I feel like modern society really separates us from. Now, granted, it depends on where you're from. I'm American. I live in the United States. So I feel like we are very much intentionally separated from our bodies, from this interoception. Okay, but maybe you come from a different culture where developing this skill is more popular, is more accessible for you. Definitely feeling some tension in the throat, okay? In the front of the throat. It is hard to tell, yes. And that's okay that it's hard to tell, right? That's why it's a skill that we have to work on developing. The more you pay attention to how things feel on the inside while you're singing, the better you will become at being able to identify where the tension is, okay? So, let's do a couple little neck rolls, okay? Open up the back of the neck and the throat. Side to side, all right? And now we're going to do our first tongue exercise, and then we're going to go back and sing Amazing Grace again and see if anything has changed, okay? So this first exercise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain it first, and then we'll practice it together, okay? I'm going to stick my tongue out. Now I'm going to try to stick it out straight. I do not want my tongue to rest on the bottom teeth, right? We want it to be up and out. And then once the tongue is up and out, I'm going to take the tip of my tongue. Let's pretend this is the tip. And I'm going to move it from right to left. And the whole time I'm trying to keep my tongue as steady as possible and just move it from side to side. And I'm also wanting to stabilize the jaw. Okay, if it's really hard for you to stabilize the jaw, you can get something to bite on, like a tongue depressor, or even like the handle of a piece of like a plastic fork or something that gives you enough space to stick your tongue out. Okay, when I was first started doing this, my jaw, I wasn't strong enough yet to not move my jaw, so I had to bite on something. So no shame if you're new and that's what you have to do. Okay, we're gonna go right to left 10 times. So go ahead. We're going to stabilize our jaw. I like putting my thumb under my chin and my fingers where my masseter muscle is. That's the strong muscle that connects your top and bottom jaw. It helps us chew. Okay? And here we go. Okay, take a little break. How did that feel? Was that hard for you? If you're brand new to this, that might have been really hard. If it was easy for you, awesome. We're going to do 5 more reps, but if you get tired or fatigued, take a break. This is very similar to working out. Okay, you want to maintain form. So if you get too tired and you can't maintain form, it's better to take a break and start over again than to push through with sloppy form. Okay? 5 more. Here we go. Cool. Oh, I forgot to go back and forth. Hold on. One more for me. Okay. I had to even it out. Cool. Okay, how did that feel? Are there any feedback? Did you feel any sort of sensations? Did it make you feel uncomfortable? I know when I first started doing tongue exercises, I had so much tension and like stored up trauma in my tongue that it was like very painful, not just physically, like I was straining the muscles, but also emotionally, right? A lot was stored in my tongue, so a lot came up and out. So if you're experiencing that too, please meet yourself with compassion and gentleness, okay? It was so difficult and a weird sensation. Yes. I guess I'd not really thought about the tongue as a muscle, and your jaw wanted to move with it. Yes. So the reason that we do these tongue exercises is we're trying to uncouple the tongue from the jaw, right? So often we move the tongue and the jaw as if they're one, and you will be surprised at how much better of like a singer you'll become and how much easier breathing actually becomes when we free the tongue from the jaw, when we uncouple their movement, right? Because there is such a thing as proper tongue posture. Okay, and the wild thing is, I just finished taking a nervous system course, which is how I discovered the effects of the tongue tie. So the natural tongue posture that is healthy for our breathing and for our bodies is for the tongue to rest, to be glued to the roof of the mouth, and for us to nasal breathe. Okay, so like my tongue tie is so severe that before I started doing stretches, I could not rest my tongue on top of the roof of my mouth. And taking it even a step further, having our tongue on the roof of our mouths, it invigorates, I'm sorry for lack of better language in this moment, it's escaping me, but it triggers the vagus nerve. So what this means is it actually soothes our nervous system to have proper tongue posture. So that's a big reason why if you did these tongue exercises and you felt anxiety come up or like some sort of nervous system reaction come up, it's not strange, right? It's actually fairly common. And like Reading said over here on YouTube, it's like, well, we never even thought about the tongue as a muscle. And the tongue is one of the strongest muscles in the body. It's super important for posture. It actually connects all the way down to our toes through fascia in the body. Okay. And a fun fact I learned about the tongue too is it's actually the only muscle in our body that we can see. Right? All of the other muscles in our body are covered with skin or fascia or, whatever they're covered with. The tongue is the only working muscle in our body that we can see, which is absolutely fascinating. So, okay, we're going to do another round of 10 of these side to side, and then we're immediately going to sing Amazing Grace twice with our eyes closed, taking inventory of what may feel or sound different. Okay? Thank you for the follow, Cloudy. Okay, here we go. Stabilize the jaw. If you had trouble stabilizing the jaw the first time, maybe go grab something to bite on really quickly, okay? Here we go. 10 reps, remembering to take a break if you get tired, okay? Okay. So I stare at myself really intently, either in a mirror or in my phone screen when I do this so that I can see if my jaw is moving. You might have noticed towards the end there, my jaw wanted to shift side to side a little bit because I was starting to fatigue, okay? So no shade towards yourself if that was happening. Just take inventory of these things and keep practicing. Okay, let's sing Amazing Grace again. Here's our starting note. High voice, low voice. 1, 2, here we go. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Okay, so I noticed that tension I was feeling in the back of my throat when we first started has loosened quite a bit from doing those tongue exercises. Let's do one more time. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Take inventory. Has anything changed from the first time? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Cool. Yeah, generally for you're in the back of my throat, I am still experiencing a little bit of tension in like the soft palate area, which is like the roof of your mouth is the hard palate and the soft palate is like the pink squishiness behind the hard palate. That made a huge difference in how it felt, like so much easier. Isn't it fascinating? It has been blowing my mind, the power of the tongue, truly. This has only been a month-long journey for me, but when I sang the wedding that I worked in South Carolina on Saturday, I could not believe the new depths of sound that I could get out of my voice from doing these tongue exercises regularly. Okay, we're going to do 2 more tongue exercises, and then we'll sing again after each one and just see if anything has changed, okay? And then that will be our session for today. So if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll pause for questions after we do each exercise, okay? So this next exercise, this one is so hard for me. So don't be hard on yourself if it's super hard for you too. Same thing. I'm going to explain it and then we'll practice it together. So stabilizing the jaw, maybe biting down on something if we're having a hard time stabilizing the jaw. This time we're going to just stick this tongue straight out. Once again, remember, we want to keep the jaw as steady as possible, and we do not want the bottom of the tongue resting on the bottom teeth. Remember, what we're wanting to do here is uncouple the tongue from the jaw. We want the tongue to be able to move independently from the jaw. Okay? So we're going to stick it out and we're going to try to hold it for 10 seconds. We'll do this for 5 repetitions. And if we're tired, we're going to take a rest and start again. Okay? Here we go. Take it in, take a rest. Okay, one more. Here we go. How do we do? This one's tough. I definitely feel the back of my tongue wanting to fatigue pretty quickly. Reading says just boosting the tongue biting question I had a second ago when we get to it. I think that it got suppressed somehow on YouTube. I don't see that question. So if you don't mind resending it, that would be fantastic. Thank you. All right, 3 more of these in the meantime. Two more. Here we go. Last one. Cool. We're going to take a break and then we're going to do 5 more reps before we sing Amazing Grace one more time. Yes, reading. I don't see your question, so if you don't mind resending it, that'd be great. How's everybody doing over on TikTok? We're quiet on TikTok today, and that's A-okay. Just want to make sure that everybody's understanding the information. Let me know if I can clarify anything. All right, 5 more reps, 10 seconds each. Steady that jaw. Do not let the tongue rest on the bottom of the jaw. We are trying to separate our tongue from our jaw movement, okay? Here we go. Remembering if we're fatigued to take a break. Here we go. Okay, 3rd one, here we go. Two more. Okay, and our last one. Okay, cool. Now I notice when I get towards the end of these, the back of my tongue actually starts to fatigue. Right? Because I think that I'm stretching the tongue so far out. But it does feel good, Val, doesn't it? It's really incredible how much it can shift. I find too that I get a lot less tension headaches because my tongue has been so tight that it has caused me a lot of tension in the nape of my neck and right here where my shoulders meet my neck. And that has improved significantly so since I've started doing these exercises regularly. Okay, let's sing Amazing Grace and then we'll pause for some questions. Here we go. Remember, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take inventory. What feels different? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Cool. After that one, I don't know if you could hear it, but my tone became a lot richer, and it's because the back of my tongue is settling. It's stretched, it can relax. It's not tight and tense. I'm able to like let it go, and it creates a much freer sound. If you have any observations about what you felt different in your own voice and you feel comfortable dropping them in the chat, please do. And let's do this one more time. Take some inventory. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Cool. I feel a lot more vibration. I feel a lot more freedom. And I feel a much stronger, steadier, freer sound. It's easier to sing, even though I'm not super warmed up. Okay. We have a question on YouTube. Sorry if this is a silly question, but if I'm biting on something for support, where should I place it in my mouth so I can still stick my tongue out? Yeah, not a silly question at all. So working with the myofunctional therapist, they gave me this thing, which obviously is really good because you can just you might be able to find one of these little thingies on like Amazon or something. Or here, this is a plastic tongue depressor. This is super strong. Yeah, okay. So I've also used a plastic fork, like the handle of the plastic fork. But try to find one that has like a wider handle. And it has to be kind of strong plastic. I did use a plastic knife to do this yesterday, and it was weak enough that my biting strength like crushed it, right? So you do have to find the right thing. But here, I'll just give you an example. So, okay. So finding anything like that can help you out at home. Okay, and then what I try to do is I try to place it in between my teeth on one side towards the back so that I can still have tongue freedom. And the prop might get in your way a little bit, especially if you're going side to side, but just do your best to work around it and then change, right? Like maybe do 5 reps with the thing on this side and then switch it to the other side so that you stay nice and even. Let me know if that answers your question or if you have any more clarifying questions. Cool. All right, we're going to do one more tongue exercise for today, and then we'll be done with today's free Voice Lesson Thursday. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tara. I'm a professional singer based in New York City, and I offer different free music education classes 5 days a week. Music Theory Monday, Ear Training Tuesday, Warm Up Wednesday. This is free Voice Lesson Thursday. Tomorrow will be Frequency Friday. So if you missed any information and you want to go back and rewatch, you can go to my YouTube, which is the same handle, @Resident Harmony Nerd. You can also find my YouTube in my link tree. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. It's a great way to support me for free. I just started with YouTube about 2 months ago, so I'm growing over there, okay? You can also join my email list. It's the first button in my link tree. And in exchange for your email address, you're going to immediately be sent a free PDF on the basics of vocal harmony, both the music theory basics and ear training basics. And it gives you enough information to practice vocal harmony 101 on your own, regardless of whether or not you play an instrument. So that's another great way to support me for free. And soon I will be having group lesson offerings, both music theory and singing technique lessons on Zoom. And those will probably be about $15 a class, drop-in style. And I will also be offering some some PDFs for a low price point, like $3 to $5, that you can purchase the PDF to like support the education that we're doing in these little YouTube and TikTok live free sessions. Okay. And if there's any other offerings that y'all are interested in, I am growing my online community, growing it, turning it hopefully into a main source of income. So, I am definitely open to suggestions. from people out there, okay? All right. One last tongue exercise. Are we ready? Thank you for sharing the live, Woody. I appreciate you. All right. Hey, Nell. Nice to see you. Okay, so this next one is hard, okay? Especially with my restricted tongue movement. This one took me a while, so no shade towards yourself if it takes you a minute to get it right. What we're going to do is suction our tongue to the roof of our mouth. Now, for me, when I first started this, it was easy for me to get the back of the tongue, but not the front of the tongue. So use a mirror or use your camera on your phone so you can watch yourself do this one. It's going to be really helpful. You want the entirety of the tongue to suction and seal to the roof of your mouth. We're going to hold that suction and seal for about 3 seconds, and then we're going to make a click sound. I'll show you an example, then we'll practice 5 times together, okay? Like this. Again, stabilizing the jaw as best you can. Okay? And you want it to sound like mine, right? When I first started doing this, my click sounded totally different because I didn't have the strength yet. So if your click doesn't sound like my click just yet, be patient with yourself and keep working. You have to build up enough strength for the click to kind of sound the way mine just did, okay? Thank you for the follow, Emmy. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to do 5 of these. Take a little break, and then we'll do 5 more, and then we're going to sing the song again and see what feels different, okay? Here we go. 2. Number 3. Oh, I lost that one. It's okay if you do 2. Try again. Okay, number 4. Number 5. Oh, that one didn't want to click. It wanted to stay forever and ever. All right, thank you so much. This was super helpful. You're so very welcome. And feel free to watch the replay for anything that you missed. Okay, the replay will be posted on YouTube. Free Voice Lesson Thursday replay playlist. Okay. All right, shake it out. We're gonna do 5 more. Here we go. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Did you see how that one sounded different? So that was not a good one. So I'm going to redo number 3. Here we go. Better. Number 4. And last one. Here we go. That one is fun, but I swear I feel tension like all the way up the back of my neck and into the back of my head. And I think that the tension in my tongue is quite a source of headaches for me. So maybe you're feeling a similar thing. Val thinks we did it. All right. Awesome. Congrats. Cool. All right. Let's sing again. High voice, low voice. Amazing Grace. Here we go. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Yeah, so those clickies, remember how I said before we did this last one, I was feeling some tension in my soft palate, which is the squishiness behind the roof of your mouth. That tension is gone from doing the clicky exercise, right? I squeezed it enough that I squeezed some of the tension right out of it, and everything feels really amazing and open right now as I'm singing. Let's do it one more time. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and take inventory. What feels different when you're singing after doing these tongue exercises? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Wow, my voice feels very open. It's very different from the place where we started. How are all of your voices feeling? If you enjoyed this lesson, go ahead, double tap the screen on TikTok, give me some likes, give me a thumbs up over on YouTube. If you have any questions, I'll be on about 5 more minutes. And it doesn't have to be on today's lesson, right? If there's some other vocal technique that you're interested in learning, you're welcome to let me know. I'm happy to tailor these free music lessons to the information that people want to learn. So feel free to drop in the comments if you have a question about today's session, or maybe something you'd like to learn, whether it's music theory or singing technique, or if you have just any questions about like what it's like to be a professional singer, how I developed my career, any of that good stuff. I welcome any and all questions at this time. And while I'm waiting to see if you all have any questions, I'm going to give you my little sign-off spiel so that you know a little bit more about me and who I am and what I'm doing. So my name is Tara, your resident harmony nerd. I'm a professional singer based in New York City. I'm also a singing teacher, music educator, and content creator. Okay, and I believe that music education and singing technique knowledge should be available to the general public. So that is what I'm doing, building this harmony nerd community. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And if you've been here for a while, I see you and I adore you. And thank you for being a part of this thing that we're building together. There are a few ways that you can join the community and support me. Okay, one of those ways is like, follow, share. If you're on TikTok, please subscribe on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please follow on TikTok. Okay, I also have a TikTok shop showcase and a Linktree shop showcase. So you can support me financially by buying something from my shop or my showcase. And all of the items in my shops are things that help me with singing, whether it's like a massage tool or some sort of like herbal throat elixir, or I know I have a lot of books that have helped me out there. Okay, something else I have in the works is like a shadow work journal for singers, right? So that we can work through some of our blocks to help us be more confident when we put our creative selves out into the world. Okay, so that is in the works. It should be ready, probably not till the fall, but we're working with it. The PDF might be ready sooner than that. Working with it. So if you really enjoy my content and you're able to send me a tip, I do welcome tips and donations. It's the third button down on my link tree. It says tip me please. You click on it and it'll give you my Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and what's the other one? PayPal information. Even $1 helps. You can send me $5, buy me a coffee, send me $1. All of this helps me to keep being able to do these lives 5 days a week, right? And if you're not able to financially support at this time, that's okay. You're still more than welcome here. And I'm happy that you're here. Okay. So I also offer one-to-one online lessons. I offer weekly and bi-weekly lessons. So if you're interested in singing or piano lessons, you can feel free to check out my website, which is in my link tree, or you can send me a message. Okay. And I also offer vocal assessments. And a vocal assessment is for somebody who wants to become a better singer, but for whatever reason does not want to commit to the time or money of regular lessons. What a vocal assessment is 30 minutes online. We meet, you come warmed up, and you prepare 2 songs for me to karaoke tracks. One you feel really good about and one you know you need help with. You sing them both for me, and then we work on the one you need help with the time we have left, which is usually 10 to 15 minutes. You get a recording of the vocal assessment as well as a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is just great because it has 8 different points of vocal technique, like your intonation, how you move between your different vocal registers, right? And I tell you what you do really well in one column. I tell you where you could use improvement, lovingly and kindly, in another column. And then in the third column, I put hyperlinks to exercises online so that you can work on the things that you need help with, right? So this way you have guidance without having a regular vocal coach. Okay, and then once you've improved upon all the feedback I gave you in the vocal assessment, you can just book another vocal assessment. So it's kind of like a la carte vocal assistance, right, from a professional who can help you improve. So that's a vocal assessment. And those are available in my link tree as well. It'll connect you directly to my calendar to schedule if you're interested in that. Reading is asking what... Oh, The demo on how to use the biting was super helpful. I'm still a bit confused on how to raise my tongue in the third exercise. Okay. Or what modification would be if that isn't feasible. So if you can't suction your tongue to the roof of your mouth yet, what I would recommend is doing the first two exercises, the side to side and the sticking out the tongue, until you develop enough strength to really suction it up. So what I'm trying to do is squeeze and suction the whole entirety of my tongue to the roof of my mouth. So I'm feeling the sides of my tongue against my teeth. I'm feeling the middle of my tongue up against the roof of my mouth. And then I'm pressing the tip of my tongue right behind my teeth, attempting to flatten my entire tongue on the roof of my mouth. Okay? And if you watch me really closely, I kind of tremble a little bit because there's a lot of tension there for me still. So I am really squeezing. I'm going to show you really close. See if we can see if you can tell, okay? Okay? And when I kind of get that little bit of trembling, I know that I am squeezing out years and years and years of tension that has been trapped in my tongue. Let me know if you need more clarification reading. I hope that helped. Let me see. Over on TikTok, Michelle says, love your content. Thank you for putting it out there as accessible as it is. You're so welcome. Thank you for being a part of the community. I'm happy to have you here. Okay. So friendly reminder, if you missed any of today's session and you would like to go back and review it, you can go to YouTube, same handle at Resident Harmony Nerd, or you can find my YouTube in my link tree. Okay. Please subscribe and then go to the free Voice Lesson Thursday replay playlist. And this will be posted, I think, usually within like 30 minutes to an hour as soon as YouTube can process it. Okay? And tomorrow we're doing Frequency Friday. It'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay? And I don't have a topic yet for tomorrow, but I'll figure it out. And Frequency Friday is where we work on confidence building, where we work on our artistic blocks, where we work on the root causes of our fears, right? I think it's really important to consider who benefits when we stay quiet and when we don't explore our creativity, and who benefits when we do, right? So something to think about. And we usually end up talking about at Frequency Friday. Sometimes we do journal prompts. Sometimes we talk about different therapeutic techniques. And, sometimes we just talk about imposter syndrome, or, what we are feeling in our hearts and our bodies that makes it hard. I know that a lot of us, myself included, have had experiences in our formative years where a chorus teacher or a singing teacher or a music teacher was nasty to us. And I have my theories as to why this happens to so many people. I think that there are some really fantastic music teachers out there, and then there are some bitter music teachers out there who take it out on their students. And unfortunately, I feel like many of us have experienced that. So I'm deeply sorry if that happened to you. And I do recommend sitting with it and exploring it and seeing if it is still affecting you all these years later. And, that's the kind of stuff we do at Frequency Friday. So does anybody have any last minute questions? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just making stuff up. Okay. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions for today, so I'm going to sign off for today. My name is Tara, your Resident Harmony Nerd. Thank you, my loves, for hanging out with me today, for working with the tongue. I hope that you can continue to do these exercises at least once a day. And I can tell you from personal experience, because I just started doing this daily about a month ago, you are going to be amazed with the results, and not just in your singing voice, in your entire body. It's really fantastic. So I hope that you keep practicing. If you want to go back to the recording, you can go find it on my YouTube page. And yes, I agree. Reading creativity, it scares it. Oh, creativity scars are the worst. Yes. Yeah, I agree. And stepping into our creative energy scares the status quo, right? So what better act of resistance than to fully embody yourself and your creativity? okay? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time too. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the community. Thank you to those who have been here and just keep coming back. I love you. I see you. You're fantastic. And I'll see you tomorrow for Frequency Friday. Have a lovely evening and afternoon. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye, YouTube. See you tomorrow.